Hi everyone, Lyric is here from ACAT Games. In this video I will share with you the experience of participating in the March official game jam from Epic Games. In the last video on this topic I have already told you what is the game jam, so I'll not go into details. But instead I want to talk to you, or more like discuss with you, the other side of not only game development, but of any activity of creating something or trying to learn something and so on. But I'll get back to it later. The topic of this jam was Spring into Action. This time there were 80 teams which participated in this jam, and there actually were a lot of veterans. Although this is a spring jam, it's very common to interpret the topic as you see fit, and this jam is no exception. In the course of a long thought process, which included minutes of thoughtful silence and the same minutes of active arguments and the hours of being dumb, we came up with an idea to build the game around some kind of love theme. It's spring after all. And then we added the idea of melting ice in the Arctic and saving penguins from hungry fur seals. And the result is Penguins Meltdown. We play as a tough polar explorer who one day wakes up and sees that ice is melting, there is panic, chaos, and so on and so forth. And since our guy is the real lover of animals, his task is to save the penguins who are stuck on pieces of ice passing by him. But unfortunately, penguins are very principled and refuse to be saved without their loved ones, and insist on saving them in pairs with the same color. To make matters worse, our polar guy still has to protect our penguins from the fur seals, which periodically appear and devour the poor animals faster than freaking Flash. The goal of the game is to save as many penguins as possible and earn as many points as possible. There are some bonuses which appear from time to time and which are supposed to make our life a bit easier. Such bonuses as slowing down the time, multiplying the number of points you get, and some others. I want to say a big thank you to all my teammates. Thanks to Alexei for his godlike coding, Nastya for the art, for the charming menu, and in general for the invaluable contribution, to Vlad for modeling, and many thanks to Gennady Berezhnoy as well as his charming wife Natalia Berezhnaya for their fascinating work with the sound design, for soundtrack, for voice acting for penguins and fur seals. As always, I'm very lucky to work with you guys. And now let's go back to that other thing which I wanted to talk about. I wanted to share some thoughts on failure and our experience on dealing with it. I will not hide, for this jam we had very high hopes, simply because we finally created something finished, something playable, something on a brand new level comparing to our previous efforts. And these hopes gave us really high expectations, and therefore, when we learned, according to the results of the jam, that we didn't make it in the top 3, it actually hit us hard. Very hard, I mean, really hard. And it is difficult to get rid of this annoying feeling of defeat, of failure. Of course, yes, the winners were veterans who have much more experience than we have, but unfortunately this doesn't make things easier, not even slightly. And we will obviously need some time to recover from this. Therefore, I would like to share a couple of thoughts on the topic how you can avoid falling into this trap of high expectations, or what to do when you did. First, when you're working on something, keep a cold mind. It's an awesome feeling when you excelled yourself, when you created something a level higher than you did before. It's amazing when you see that you have grown. But never forget that at the same time there is probably someone who feels the same somewhere, and who is probably on 1, 2, maybe 3 steps above you. Keep this passion for creating something, but remember that you are still growing, you are still learning, and there are still people who are better than you. Secondly, do not let it slow down your growth. Yes, you have failed, yes, everything is bad, hopeless, and so on and so forth, but if you focus on it for a very long time, you will not have a chance to redeem this failure, to understand what was wrong, how to make things better. If you take into account mistakes, analyze them, understand them, it will give you the opportunity for explosive growth. You will be able to learn something much faster, especially comparing to just sitting at the computer and watching tutorials. Sit down and see what the mistakes were, why the others were better, and be better than them next time. Do not turn away from the challenge. In the end, we are engaged in something because in us there is a desire to grow, to blossom, to become greater, to reach higher. Well, surely it sounds like cheesy as hell, but it is true. And the last but not least, even if you think that it is good for you to be alone, if you think that it's easier for you to do everything by yourself, program, model, draw, voice, and so on and so forth, all by yourself, well, that's cool. Yes, there are some examples of people who achieved a lot by doing everything all by themselves. But even so, such cases are more like an exception. So surround yourself with people who will share your desire to be better, who will want to create something and to develop. Yes, it is kind of difficult to work in the team. Yes, you will argue, but you'll have to learn to share your thoughts. Give up this belief that something is obvious to you and therefore you shouldn't share it, although it may not be obvious to another person. Yes, you will have failures, you will have letdowns, but if you're able to survive through it, you'll emerge far stronger as a team. Even with all these difficulties, together you reach much, much higher than it is possible alone. And if it wasn't true, the world would have been full of solo developers who earn millions simply because they're such phenomenal people, create masterpieces by themselves. And I think that you'll agree with me that it's not how the things are right now. I am personally grateful to the universe, to the god of the game development, or whoever rules us, I don't know, for the people I work with. And I sincerely hope that our biggest success is yet to come. I guess that's it. I think by now you're quite bored with my cheesy speech. But I hope these thoughts will be of some use to you. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, join our group on Vkontakte and Facebook, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a nice day.